Alrighty, everybody. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back here to another stream, my friends. Happy Friday. Hope everyone is doing good. It is good to have you guys here for another update. Boy, do I got something pretty cool to show y'all. So this program we've been using, weather-wise, it actually has models now, which apparently is pretty cool. I just learned about this like 2 minutes ago, so just kind of fiddling around with it. So that is going to be pretty interesting. We got some models and stuff. Anyways, I am just geeking out over here. But what's up, everybody? Good to see y'all. Let's see what we got here today. We have Delmar. Let's see. We have ourselves Divinely, Cheryl, Tabletop, Misty. What's up, guys? Good to see ya. Yay, weather. Good to see you. What's up, Cheryl? Saying hello, everyone. Yes, Tabletop. Absolutely. What's up, Misty? Good to see ya. See severe storms going on now. Let me take a peek here, actually. I think we do have a couple of warnings. Yeah, we do have a bit of warnings popping off up north. We were talking about this yesterday here. Let's hop over here to... I almost forgot how to navigate this site here. Did they change things? Did they actually change... Hold on. Composite. Where's the Outlook tab? Did they get rid of that? Dude, I am so confused. What did they do? Oh, here's Outlooks. Wait a minute. Oh... No way. So we can do outlooks over models now? Sorry, I'm just like losing it. What's up, Cheryl? Good to see you. Where am I located? I am in Lakeland, Florida. That is where I am. Okay, that's pretty cool. Anyways, but we do have a slight risk apparently today. We're going to disable those models here. So we do have a slight risk of level 2 threat for severe weather here. This is a big update. Holy cow. So they did actually upgrade the risk here. Yesterday was that big marginal we were talking about, but they did add a 15% risk here. There is not any tornado threat, thankfully. So we're pretty good on tornadoes. We have a wind threat here, 15% risk for portions of the western Dakotas. We got a few other little 5% regions here. And then, of course, we have our hail threat. We do also have a pretty big hail threat here, a big old 15% risk here. Across portions of the northern plains as well as some of the Rockies here. Noel, absolutely rest in peace, dude. Charlie was very, very unique. Really love that dude. It's not about politics, and we're not talking about politics. This is strictly a weather channel, but rest in peace, dude. Absolutely. But we're not going to talk about that much. We're just going to focus on the weather. But yeah, may he rest in peace. But so no tornadoes, thankfully. Just a little bit of hail, a little bit of winds here. Tomorrow we do have 3 marginal risk here. So we have one up actually kind of towards the western Ohio Valley, kind of for portions of the mid-Atlantic, the Midwest here. Of course, we have another one up north. There's been quite a bit of weather here, severe weather popping off here for the plains lately. There actually has been quite a bit of activity. We also do have ourselves another risk for portions of the southwest for like areas of New Mexico, as well as Colorado here. This is for tomorrow, being day 2. Then on day 3, we also do have another pretty big marginal. It seems like, the central northern plains have been pretty darn active with severe weather, but, there's no full-on outbreaks or anything like that expected, so, we're looking pretty good. But all of our eyes should be on the tropics now, because I tell you what, we've had quite a slow start to the season here. The season's been absolutely slow. There really hasn't been, a whole lot of activity so far this season, which, we are expecting a above average season. I firmly believe that the second half of the season, which we're going into now, I firmly do believe we're going to really start to see some activity here. And actually, the models have been really picking up on that. Missy says, just a hot and dusty, dry day in central Missouri. Yeah, gotcha. Missy also said there's a tornado already in North Dakota a couple hours ago. Really? I did not know that. But we definitely need to keep our eyes on the tropics here. We actually do have an update for you guys. So we were watching this. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. We do have an overall 40% chance probability here for tropical development here. So throughout the next 48 hours, the next 2 days, we have a low chance of overall development. So we're not expecting much to happen throughout the next, let's go and bring up our satellite, throughout the next 2 days. But let me go ahead and bring up the sat here. Let's see here. We'll do our infrared long wave here. Let's actually go to the main development region here. That we can load it up. Actually, it's not even really showing up. So the storm's actually just off the west coast of Africa here. And actually, if I bring up the hurricane center here, you can kind of see where it's at here. I think it's still just southeast of the Cabo Verde, so it's right in here, just barely off of the screen there. But this is from the hurricane center here. We do have, this is this little X here. This is where the storm is at now. And this area here, that's that big circle. This is where the storm could develop. This is where the development could occur. So as of right now, like we mentioned, 48-hour development not expected. We're not really expecting anything to occur within the next 2 days. But throughout the next 7 days, we are now up to a 40% chance probability here for overall tropical development. So possible tropical storm, possible depression. We're going to have to definitely look into this here. So, overall pretty good shot here. Actually, we do have some model guidance we're getting ready to get into here. I definitely do want to talk about that. Just a quick little peek here at the Eastern Pacific. We do have a little bit of activity. We have Mario, Tropical Storm Mario kicking off here. This was actually expected to become a hurricane. Latest cone has since ruled that out. Look how tiny that little, holy cow. Look how tiny that, dude, what is that little nugget? Hold on a minute. Where is our thingamabob? Where's our, no, not wind history. Where's our current, here we go, surface wind. Yeah, look how tiny it is, bro. Look how little that, oh my gosh. That is like a football field of tropical storm force winds. They have the most tiniest little tropical storm watch too for for western Mexico. Dude, that's actually kind of funny. I mean, look how tiny that thing is. That little, you can't even see it right now. That little yellow blob that you see, that is how big the tropical storm force, the estimated tropical storm force winds are. Dude, this thing is freaking tiny. This thing is so tiny. Here, let's go ahead and take a peek at it on satellite. I definitely want to look at this. Tropical Storm Mario. Yeah, it literally looks like it's like one storm. Here, if you take a look at the latest, you can't even really see where the corner is at. See, I'm surprised this is a tropical storm, to be honest with you. It looks very disorganized. That's weird. What is it sustained at? Very small wind field, though. That is actually pretty crazy. We're at 40 sustained here, so pretty weak. We were expecting the system to become a hurricane, but that has since been dropped from the hurricane center, so that's definitely good. What's up, Polly? Saying hello, Andrew. What's up, my friend? Good to see ya. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, that has got to be the most tiny wind field I think I have ever seen from the hurricane center. That's actually pretty darn crazy. But yeah, so that's that. Just wanted to mention this real quickly, that we do have ourselves a little bit of an activity here on the in the Eastern Pacific. We also do have another disturbance here for the Eastern Pacific. No formation within the next 2 days, but throughout the next 7 days, we do have a 20% chance, which is pretty low. But yeah, all of our eyes, we definitely should keep it out there for the Atlantic, because this is where we do have that 40% chance probability here for tropical development. Let's actually take a peek here at the models. We're gonna dive on into the models here. We're gonna do a bit of analysis here. I do want to bring up some ensembles too, so we'll go ahead and bring those up as well. So let me go ahead and bring this page up here for you guys. So I think first we're going to look at the ensembles, and then we'll look at the specific models here. So let's first of all take a peek here at some of those ensembles. We're going to start with the ECENS here. So I'm going to make sure you guys can actually see this good. What is this screen? Okay, that's AWIPS here. Let's let's move this down here so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay, so if we loop this down in time here, so we work our way down in time. If you guys want to follow the time here, you can actually see on the right-hand side here, this is the date. So you can see the 13th going into the 14th. I know there's a lot of words here. This is just when it was initiated on this here, so it was initiated today. But this is the valid date that we're looking at. Here's also the forecast hour. So there's actually not one but two systems that we could see develop here. The ECENS is very clear that there's not only one, but there's actually two potential disturbances here. So don't be surprised if we do get another area of interest from the Hurricane Center here. Now, if we work our way down in time, there's still a lot of uncertainty here overall. You can actually see, so this is for the 18th. We are going to see the system, it actually has moved a little bit further west since yesterday. Still way too early to tell anything, but you can see, we do have some westerly movement here. There's the main grouping of the models, westerly movement over the next several days, and following that, another wave, and maybe even a third wave. We'll have to see what happens, though. But there is just so much uncertainty here. You can see there's a lot of unknown factors here. But, ECENS is very clear about not one, but two potential disturbances that we need to look into. One of them has already been noted by the Hurricane Center. The second one has not yet, but I really do firmly believe that we're probably going to be getting another AOI from the Hurricane Center here probably within the next couple of days. So we'll have to look out there for that. Now, in terms of the GFS, it's obviously great to compare models here. Looking at the GFS here, not as much support on that second system. The first system, we do have that support going a little bit further north than what the ECENS has suggested. Now hopping our way over here to the GDM FNV3 model. This one, as you can see, which we'll go ahead and play our way down in time. Wow, holy cow. Okay, so the GDM FNV3 actually has that system going a lot further to the west here. Also a little bit of support there with that second wave here, as you can see, kind of following right behind it. So, there is not just one, but, maybe two systems that we need to, definitely look out there for. Like I said, there is definitely a lot more westerly movement here since yesterday that I've seen, according to the, once again, the GDM FNV3 model that we're looking at now, you can obviously tell that there is a bit of westerly movement, keeping things possibly just north of the Antilles. But, remember, this is still, a good 8 or 9 days out, so there still is a lot of room for changes here. But I definitely wanted to mention that. And it's great to look at, all kinds of different models. It's never good to look at just one. So now we're working our way over here to the GENC model. This is also the GDM. This is the GENC model. So looking at this model as well, kind of agreeing with its other partner there, showing limited support with that second wave, not as much as like the ECENS was talking about here, but the GENC does have the system, being just north of like the Leeward Islands here, out there by the Virgin Islands there, just kind of keeping things possibly nearby, which, once again, it's a little early to tell. Because, possible time frame, that would be right around the 20th, 21st, so that's a good 9 days out or so. So, a little bit of ways away, and there's absolutely a lot of changes that can happen between now and then. Once again, limited support here on the that second system behind it, but, we'll definitely keep an eye on it. There is definitely a little bit of support there. But there's just, a lot of a lot of uncertainty still here, as you can tell. The models, they're still very much scattered, in which they're likely going to be that way for the next several days. So it's just going to be a little bit hard to tell what's going to happen here soon. But we do need everybody to keep an eye on the tropics. We'll definitely keep you guys updated with everything. We'll make sure that y'all are, staying updated and, making sure you guys are staying safe out there, of course. And if there actually is anything that becomes a big concern, we'll let you guys know. We'll cover it and everything like that. So we got you guys. It's just been pretty slow lately, man. That's why we really haven't been live as much lately. There's just really not a lot that's been crazy lately in the weather world. I mean, yeah, we've had a couple storms in the Eastern Pacific. The Atlantic has been very quiet. We covered a lot of whatever that one storm was. I already forgot the name of it. Was it Aaron, I think it was? Yeah, so we really covered that storm here. But, it's just been very quiet since then. There really hasn't been a much. And, 2 days ago was the peak of hurricane season, too. So it's like, we're right now, on average, at the most peak part of the season here. But anyways, so yeah, that's the ensembles. I do want to take a peek here at the main models here with you guys as well, like the GFS and everything like that. So let's hop over to that now. Taking a look here at the North Atlantic. So there's your Bermuda High, pretty squished to the east here, as you can see. Kind of opening the gateway for the Central West Atlantic here, but that's as of right now. So the latest GFS, this is the 18 UTC. You can see that's broad low. That's the wave that we're watching here. You can see it just kind of slipping south of the Cabo Verde. System works its way here to the west. GFS doesn't really have a whole lot with that. What the heck? All right, GFS is on something there. Holy cow. Remember, this is like 200 plus hours out. We cannot look at anything above like 180 because, it gets a little bit iffy. But I'll tell you what, though, GFS has that second wave actually materializing into maybe something here, but that's starting to get way too far out to tell. So from what it looks like, the tropics are wakening up. It looks like they are wakening up here, so we definitely need to be watching this pretty closely. Here's the ECMWF here, the European model here. Not really having a whole lot happening with that first wave, but, kind of similar to what the GFS has suggested. There might even be a couple more waves to follow here, so, that's what I'm saying. It really looks like the tropics are wakening up here. Let's see here. Carrot says, talking about that tropical storm west of Mexico. What about it? Yeah, I mean, it is a small wind field. That's not really much of a concern right now. Tabletop, don't worry, dude. Man, you got to know at this point, it's too far out to tell, I know it's like, this is a good 2 weeks out or so, upwards of 2 weeks out, so it's, still a little bit far out for anything. I see casual 200-hour GFS. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. GFS is crazy. Looks like there'll be more lift in the atmosphere around the end of September, early October. Yeah, that is definitely, what the models are really suggesting is, a lot more prime conditions for, tropical development there. A lot more, clumps of storms developing, Absolutely. So, that's definitely something that we're going to need to look out there for. Let's take a peek at the CMC model here. This is another model. So CMC does actually have a bit of support with that first wave here that we're taking a look at here. So the CMC does have a bit of support here, kind of working ways to the northwest. But look at that. It actually shows those other two waves here. CMC does as well. So that's now the Euro ECMWF. That's now the American GFS and now the CMC model that pick up on three possible tropical waves, one after another here, man. This is looking like a kind of a train of potential storms, but it's just a little early though, to be for sure. Right now we just need to focus on the one. As soon as it gets mentioned by the Hurricane Center, we'll definitely let you guys know, but just a little early to tell. But the tropics are absolutely wakening up, it seems, so we'll definitely look out there for that. Now lastly, we have the Icon here. The Icon model here does have maybe some gradual development here. This is the 18 UTC. The 12 Zulu does have the system maybe working its way westward here. Don't want to go too far into models, but yeah, also picks up on some of those other waves there. There's one of your waves there, and then of course there's that other wave here. So, it looks like it's going to start getting pretty rainy here in West Africa. This is also going to be bringing some rain for you guys, because a lot of those, thunderstorm clumps will be rolling over there, in which, once those clumps of thunderstorms roll over the waters where it's warm, can use all that heat and everything like that to, to really convect and, organize in the tropical activity here. So, yeah, absolutely. So, we'll definitely keep an eye on it, y'all. There's really not a whole lot more on the models we can look at right now, but, we'll definitely keep you guys tuned. We'll definitely be watching out there for you guys here very, very closely. But anyways, I do want to take a peek here back at the models here. So, like I mentioned, we do have ourselves... Let's see, how did I forget Hurricane Aaron? I forgot the name of it for a minute. I remember Aaron, but I just forgot the name of it for a minute, but I remembered it eventually. So, anyways, but yeah, taking a look here at the risk for severe weather tomorrow. I do want to bring up the HRRR here. We'll bring up our simulated reflectivity here, or composite reflectivity here. So, so tomorrow we really have 3 areas of severe weather potential. We once again got the northern plains, between North and South Dakota here. We actually got a little bit of severe weather activity popping off now. Tomorrow we do have a threat for portions of Indiana, like northeastern Illinois, a little bit of southern Wisconsin, and southwestern Michigan here. So let's go ahead and load up the HRRR here. We'll go ahead and see what we got going on there. So it looks like... Yeah, it kind of looks like we're going to have a little bit of storm activity kind of rolling through. I wish there was a time here that it would show us. Does it not have time? I mean, it has UTC, but I wish they had like a little thing that told us the time here. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, it looks like we are going to get some activity here. This is showing right around... I don't know if this is in military time or if this is in like UTC or whatnot. That's what... this program really needs to change that. I ain't going to lie. Well, hold on a minute. It looks like... Okay, it actually looks like it is in 24-hour format, actually. Okay, so this will be tomorrow... Kind of morning, it looks like, actually. Yeah, tomorrow morning is whenever the model kind of suggests some of that activity rolling through. So, we'll have to look out there for that. The SPC, that we do have not a tornado threat... but we do have a bit of a wind threat here for some gusty winds and a bit of a hail threat there as well. So a little bit of hail, a little bit of damaging wind will be quite possible. I like how they added models, but it needs some work, in my opinion. So we're going to go ahead and hop our way back over here to this this software I always, or this program or site that I always used. So let's bring you guys back over here. So, looking at this same model, the HRRR, I do want to bring down the 18 UTC run here. I wish that Texas would get rain. We'll look at Texas here in a minute if you want me to. But yeah, you can kind of see some of that activity rolling through here pretty much for tomorrow. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for that. A little bit of activity popping through. Let me take a look at the instability here. Hold on a minute. So yeah, it looks like something ain't right here. Something's not lining up here. Let me hop back over here real quickly. So this is tomorrow for early. Okay. So yeah, you can see tomorrow, this is 12 UTC, so this would be 8 a.m., I believe, Eastern, so 7 Central, 7 a.m. Central, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yeah, I mean, it kind of shows maybe afternoon, maybe some evening storms popping through. Looking at the instability, though, there really doesn't appear to be much, at least mixed layer. What about... most unstable here. Okay, so we do have a bit more unstable, so interesting. A lot of the instability is going to be further west here, it looks like, but convection won't occur out there. It seemed like a lot of that instability was over by Iowa, but just doesn't seem like the convection is really going to kick off out there. They have a tornado possible for a storm in Arizona. Do they? Let's look at that real quickly. Which storm is it? The one up here in Arizona. Why is this being weird? Whoa, what's this for? Oh, it's Alaska. Winter Weather Advisory. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, where did all of our warnings go? I don't see any more warnings that are active right now. Oh, wait a minute. Bruh. They just... They need to fix this program, man. There's a little bit of glitches on it, as you can tell. see, is it this guy? No, probably this northern one, huh? Yeah, there it is, right there. So this one's up here in kind of east central Arizona here. Let me go and bring up our reflect. So there's reflectivity. See velocity. What? What's going on here, man? Try this other radar. Is my timing all messed up here or something? Okay, there we go. Got it. Yeah, my timing was just a little bit weird. That's odd. There might be a weak meso there. Yeah, I mean, looking at the previous scans, there might be a little bit of a weak mesocyclone on that, but expires in 2 minutes though. Actually, it's weakened below severe limits. No longer poses immediate threat, so that's good. Yeah, that one's been canceled. Anyways, but hopping back to models and stuff here. But yeah, let me take a look at Texas for you, Polly, if you want me to. Is there any specific part of Texas you want me to look? We could just kind of pull up the big Texas view if you want me to. See, I don't know what's going on with your website. I'm on Omega. It's working fine. Yeah, that's Omega. This is a different website I'm using though. Texas looks pretty calm. We do have a bit of showers though. It looks like tomorrow, kind of tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Got a little bit of instability, but not a whole lot. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be anything severe or anything like that. It'd just be maybe some showers. Lower level jet is non-existent. I mean, we got a little bit of a mid-Texas jet stream. Not much, though. Yeah, wind shear is pretty darn weak, so storms, they're going to not be that strong. Dew points here, no surpriser. Yeah, tomorrow going to be in the mid-lower 60s. Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, we could get some storms out here, but it's probably not going to be anything big, to be honest with you. Just maybe some showers. It looks like that's just mostly going to be just east of whatever highway goes from, what is that, San Antonio? Yeah, from San Antonio up to Dallas. Whatever highway connects those two, a lot of that convection is probably going to be east of those areas here. I'll tell you what, though. It does look like New Mexico is going to be getting quite a bit of activity here. Let's take a peek at New Mexico here. So if any of you guys live out by New Mexico, it looks like we are going to be getting quite a bit of convection out there. A lot of storms rolling through. I believe we do have a pretty decent storm threat here. Sorry, flooding threat here as well. Let's hop y'all over there real quickly. Let's take a peek at that. I feel like they've added more stuff. Tropical cyclone formation. Yeah, they did. What is this? Yo, okay. Interesting. Yeah, they've really highlighted formation probabilities here out there by like the Cabo Verde with all those waves going off there. Absolutely. But what I wanted to look at here was the excessive rainfall. Yeah, so here for today and tomorrow, we do have a level 2 threat for flooding. So my folks up in New Mexico do need to be weather aware. Today and tomorrow. You look at the radar now, it looks like we do have a bit of activity popping through. Let's see. Yeah, a little bit of convection rolling through. We do have a little bit of severe weather up in Arizona here. I don't even know if they have a risk, do they? Kind of go. They do. Okay, so they do have a level 1 threat. We have 2 slight risk here for the rest of today. One of them is for like western Colorado, eastern Utah. Then the other one's for the western North and South Dakota. A little bit of eastern Montana here as well, and northeastern Wyoming. Got a little bit of that. So, anyways. So yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop here. With everything going on, tropical related, severe weather related and stuff like that. Severe weather isn't anything extreme or anything like that, thankfully. Just a little bit of hail, a little bit of gusty winds. Not really any tornadic activity or anything like that, thankfully. So we don't have to really worry about tornadoes or anything like that right now. So that's certainly good. Not really any big systems coming up either. No like massive outbreaks or anything like that expected. So we're looking pretty good. One thing I do want to look at, though, is temperature anomalies. Let's see what we're doing up here, temperature-wise. Let's actually hop over here to the WPC here, or CPC. Let's see what we got going on out there. Let's see, Carrot says the GFS does have a very interesting trough going through the northern plains on the 21st. Very far out, but we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, if that holds until, reasonable time frame, then we'll definitely keep an eye on it. But, yeah. Let's see, that day is coming, says anything for George that's a new one. Andrew, anytime soon. So, like severe weather-wise or thunderstorm-wise, not really anything super crazy. Tomorrow, we are not in any form of risk for storms even. Same thing for day 3. Doesn't really look like it. Honestly, it looks like it's going to be pretty dry out there. Okay, let's go ahead and bring up our radar and stuff like that for you guys. Future models. Let's see, simulated reflectivity here. Okay, so this is for the next 48 hours, basically. You can see that, as I go through time here, so this is today going onward, you can see Georgia remains pretty dry. Yeah, it really doesn't look like Georgia's going to be seeing much of anything. Yeah, I think we got some high pressure in place out here, something along that line. I'm pretty sure we do. Yeah, we do. We do have a bit of a high pressure ridge over there in the east. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty quiet for at least the next couple of days. So, hopefully that helps. What's up, Chris? Saying, hey, Andrew. Thank God it's Friday. Absolutely. The amount of ocean heat content in the Gulf is pretty concerning, but it's the peak of hurricane season. Yeah, the waters are warm, but you got to remember, what a lot of people don't remember is that the other conditions have got to be there as well. It's not just strictly reliant on sea surface temperatures. It's also reliant on atmospheric conditions. Wind shear, how strong winds are at different altitudes. Very important. If you have too strong of winds, storms just kind of rip apart, and they really don't form. You got to have it's kind of like making a cake. You can't have too much of one thing, or else it'll turn out to be not working. Between the wind shear, moisture is another big one too. If you don't have any moisture, if the air throughout the atmosphere is dry, there ain't gonna be much convection in the atmosphere. There's not gonna be much thunderstorm activity. But yes, the sea surface temperatures is one of the 3 main factors for tropical development, and yes, absolutely, it does check that off. I mean, we do have some very, very, very warm waters out there in the Gulf, absolutely. But we also do it through a lot of the Caribbean as well. Not as warm. Here, let me go ahead and bring up this here for you guys. I'll go ahead and show you all the current situation here. Yeah, I mean, especially the Western Caribbean, it's very, very warm as well. I mean, you can see here along some of the islands of, the Bahamas, we're still a good 30 degrees Celsius out there, 31 out there just northwest of, Jamaica, south of Cuba. We are very warm out here as well. So, I mean, it's not just the Gulf, but, even a lot of the central Atlantic here, over there's Bermuda. I mean, a lot of the waters are exceptionally warm right now. And, given those waves here that are working their way off of Africa, they're going to be mostly just all over, if not under the Cabo Verde, which is these set of islands over here. So throughout the duration of its life, it should be within those warm waters. But remember, once again, other conditions have got to be met as well. Warm enough, that's what we're talking about. But also like the moisture levels and the wind shear. That's also a really big factor whenever it comes to tropical development here. So, we'll definitely keep it out there for that. But yeah, the waters are absolutely warm enough. So let's hop on back over here to the models again here. So I do want to see why the GFS doesn't really suggest anything big with that first system. I mean, it appears that there's going to be enough moisture. Maybe a bit of wind shear. Yeah, I mean, we can see we do have a pretty strong jet of winds kind of above that area. We could have some wind shear interaction there, as you can tell. Maybe some strong wind shear. Most of that's north of the Cabo Verde, just out of reach of this, but, there could be still a bit of wind shear concerns here, kind of limiting that development there. So definitely have to keep it out there for that. But yeah, so, we'll keep you guys posted. But, like I mentioned, those tropics really heating up now, with the with everything. We got what looks like quite a bit of storm activity ahead of us. So I think really for the middle to late part of, or we're kind of already in the middle part of the month, I think really for the later part of this month, we're going to really be quite active. I mean, even in October, too. I think October is going to be quite an active month as well. November, things should really start to quiet down again. But I still think that at least for the next month and a half or so, we're going to have quite a bit of activity here, both for the remainder of this month and I think next month we're going to be pretty darn active here in the tropics. So, we'll definitely keep you guys updated, and we'll keep you guys informed with everything going on. Oh, do we have I thought that was a tornado warning for a second. No, we're good. No tornado warnings. But yeah. Anyways, folks, well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. But, there's really not a whole lot more we can really talk about right now. But the thing is just we'll keep you guys updated. We'll make sure to, keep you guys informed with everything. And, we'll keep you guys up to date with the news and everything like that. So if y'all are new to the channel, consider subscribing, leave it a like, it'll be greatly appreciated. Once again, if y'all have any questions before I roll off here, let me know in the chat. I'll be more than happy to help you guys with any questions you guys might have. But yeah, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here. But yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on it, and tomorrow we'll do another update for you guys, and we'll make sure to get it out there for you guys. I might even do a video, maybe a video instead. We'll have to see. But that's why it's important to have those notifications on. That way you guys can get notified whenever I do go live or whenever I do make videos and stuff like that. So, all right, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you all for hanging out with us. And y'all take care. Have a great night. And all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.